American Psycho might have seemed like a straightforward film about a psychotic serial killer, one who has good hygiene and knows his font types. But the third act of the movie intentionally unravels and leaves us guessing about what, if anything, actually happened to our deranged protagonist throughout the whole film. See, that's the trouble with having a delusional maniac at the center of the plot. His memory of his own supposed murder spree might not be so reliable after all. Like any good film, however, there are an abundance of clues scattered throughout the movie, and subsequent commentaries might help fans parse out Patrick Bateman's reality from his mental fiction. So, let's take a look at what really happened at the end of American Psycho. The body count. There's one surefire fact that we can all agree upon when it comes to Patrick Bateman. The guy is crazy. Whether he actually kills all the people he thinks he does is up for debate, but his status as a lunatic is not. From his obsessive compulsive fitness and grooming regimens, to his fixation with cardstock and music history, he's clearly disturbed. But has he actually killed all those people? Or is he just imagining it all as some sort of sick fetish fantasy?
Part of me wants to take her out and talk to her, be real nice and sweet and treat her right.
And what the other part of him think?
What her head would look like on a stick.
Some believe he's just dreaming up all those intense slaughter sessions, and there's some serious evidence to back that idea up. Consider the time his ATM tells him to feed it a stray cat before he shoots a walk-along witness for interfering. At least some part of that experience is a hallucination, and the fact that he then engages in a shootout with police that culminates in him blowing up their cruiser with just his Glock was so outlandish, even he doesn't believe it's real. And isn't it a little suspicious that the guy who can rattle off every shade of ink known to man and recite an entire encyclopedia on Phil Collins somehow can't recall his own kill count?
I guess I've killed maybe 20 people, maybe 40.
Let's just say that Bateman takes the concept of the unreliable narrator to a whole new level. However, the convenient alibi. The biggest mystery in the film revolves around whether or not Patrick Bateman actually ever killed his co-worker Paul Allen, played by Jared Leto. Paul's death scene would prove to be one of the most memorable moments of the movie and forever change how viewers experienced Huey Lewis and the News music.
I think their undisputed masterpiece is Hip to Be Square. A song so catchy, most people probably don't listen to the lyrics, but they should.
Patrick is subsequently given an extremely convenient alibi by the detective investigating Paul's disappearance that may or may not be the real deal. Before the murder, Patrick is shown going to dinner with Paul under the name Marcus Halberstrom, another co-worker Paul has long mistaken Patrick for. But when questioned, the real Marcus reveals he was at another location the night of the murder, with Patrick Bateman himself listed as part of that group. So either Patrick has actually gone to the dinner with Marcus and his other pals while dreaming up his deadly encounter with Paul, or he's done exactly what he thinks he has, and his colleagues mistakenly gift him an alibi. Considering how often all those Pierce and Pierce vice presidents seem to call each other by the wrong names, the narrative definitely seems to be leaning towards the latter. The cover-up? One of the main reasons we're left to wonder if any of these murders are real is that every shred of evidence that might convict him disappears overnight. At the tail end of his murderous rampage, Patrick has turned Paul's swanky apartment into a mini graveyard for his victims' bodies. But when he returns to the scene of the crime, the place is completely clean. It appears that the property owners have removed all traces of wrongdoing and painted over the blood-filled closet to ensure the ritzy locale's high rental value. And the listing agent's attitude toward him certainly betrays some suspicion.
I want to know what happened here.
Don't make any trouble, please. I suggest you go.
Then there's the matter of his lawyer, whom he'd feverishly confessed to via voicemail. At first, Harold Carnes literally laughs off his message, calls him by the name Davis, and says Patrick Bateman is a sorry subject choice for such a joke, because he's too dorky to actually commit murder.
That was you, wasn't it?
Yeah, naturally.
Bateman killing Allen and the escort girls. That's fabulous. That's rich.
But then, when Patrick makes it clear he's not joking, his attorney claims that there's no way he could have killed Paul Allen.
Because I had dinner with Paul Allen twice in London. Just 10 days ago.
No, you...
Could this man who has called his own client by the wrong name twice have simply mistaken Paul Allen with someone else too? Sure. Which is why it takes some explanation from on high to really understand what was meant by these ambiguous scenes. Let's hear from the folks who made this thing. The voice of authority. Director Mary Harron has since revealed that she never intended for audiences to believe Patrick was innocent.
people keep coming out of this film thinking that it's all a dream, and I never intended it.
She went on to explain that the last scene wasn't meant to make it seem like Patrick Bateman can't separate his imagination from reality, but rather that Carnes and the rest are the ones who are really confused. Not everything was real, of course. Screenwriter Guinevere Turner has said that the turning point in Patrick's psychosis takes place when he gets absorbed in his own reflection while sleeping with 2 prostitutes. She told Yahoo Movies, "In real life, they probably weren't as attractive as they are, and it wasn't all as penthouse letters as it is." In other words, Patrick Bateman might have embellished a few of the more outrageous details, but he really was hurting people all the while. What really matters, however, is how others around him react. According to author Brett Easton Ellis, who pens the novel upon which the film was based, American Psycho is meant to be a statement on male hedonism in the 80s Wall Street circuit. The whole reason Bateman gets away with the murder of Paul Allen is that everyone in Patrick's professional circle is so self-absorbed that they can't even keep each other's identities straight. Their attention is firmly focused on acquiring material wealth, and their biggest problems revolve around getting dinner reservations at the fanciest restaurant in town. Even the owners of Allen's apartment are willing to dispose of a serial killer's evidence to ensure maximum profit. In the end, there are no redeeming qualities about Bateman or anyone he knows for that matter. And even when he tries to come clean about what he's done, the people around him are too wrapped up in their own interests to care.
But even after admitting this, there is no catharsis. My punishment continues to elude me, and I gain no deeper knowledge of myself.
Thanks for watching. Click the looper icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus, check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.